All right, people. What up? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Evil Eye, coming to you again with a preview video. It is the big one. It is the scumbags across the road. It is Tottenham Hotspur. They are coming to the Emirates. Um, there is no doubt. There's for for the fixture list and for the things that we all look forward to whenever we listen to the fixture list. You know, a lot of us look forward to us going to Old Trafford. Some of us actually look forward to going to Stamford Bridge. I actually have seen it. People do look forward to it. It's a game I personally get nervous about, but I have people have more often than not look forward to the idea of going to Stamford Bridge and key games like that. For me, it's this game. It's this game every time. This is the game I genuinely relish. This is the game I look forward to. You know, I was even discussing it with the boys earlier on our WhatsApp group, and one of the things that was discussed is that some of them were actually saying that they were nervous. I'm like, I ain't nervous, not because Tottenham are not a capable team, not because they're not a dangerous team, but sometimes these are the games you relish. This is why you play top level football. This is why you are a top level team to test yourself. As much as I hate to call these scumbags there, against the best teams. And whether we like it or not, and believe me, it brings a bitter taste in my mouth to admit this. They are a good team. They are a good team. They performed very well. They performed out of their skin recently. Um, Defensively, they've been absolutely sound. Um, as far about, I think most people are of the consensus is between him and Kashani, among who are the best defenders in the league. And it's hard to, as much as it pains me to say, it's hard to look past them two. When you're looking at best defenders in the league, you're looking at those two. So they have all the makings of a good team, and fair play to them. I never thought I would see the day where, um, you know, they're scoring goals without Kane. They haven't had Kane for a couple of months or so, and they're still winning games, scoring goals, getting by teams. So they're obviously doing something right and doing it well. Um, as much as I love to laugh at them when it comes to the Champions League, because oh dear, they don't know how to win at Wembley. It's not so easy. They watched us do it, and they thought they could run their mouth every time we didn't get a positive victory, which, by the way, wasn't nearly as often as Tottenham. Never won. I can't remember the statistic itself. It goes back to 2008, I believe. They've never won a Wembley game, a Wembley game since 2008, which I find hilarious. Hilarious. Um, so, first things first, before I go into the game, an explanation. So, I had a couple of tweets as to where was the episode 17 of the Green Eagle Eye. I'll be honest with you, uh, this week, my big mammoth self was very much taken down by what I can only describe as a ridiculous virus. A ridiculous virus. I won't go into the ins and outs of how I got it, but it's something called a neurovirus. This thing is not a myth. It took me out clean for 2 days. I had no strength whatsoever to be doing no video. And unfortunately, I wanted to do a special on this whole thing. And unfortunately, I had to let that person down. And hopefully, we'll get it together and see if we can do something for you guys in the kind of return fixture. So sorry about that, guys. That's the main reason there isn't an episode 17. Essentially, that will be deferred until next week. But anyway, onwards and upwards with the preview. So how do I see the game going? Well, First things first, as per usual, I usually like to talk about how the team news is going into this game. I ain't gonna focus on them scumbags. I'm gonna focus on us. Um, it's Arsenal. It's November. It's a typically worrying month for us. So usually injuries tends to be the first thing that worries us, and we do have a couple of injury concerns. So midweek in an unbelievable game, a review which I've actually recorded. Uh, I recorded it on a device, but I wasn't feeling well, so I'm still deciding as to whether I'm going to upload it. But I have recorded that game, so do keep a lookout. I'll either re-record it if I thought it was just too terrible. I have to re-record it, or if you guys want to laugh and see an ill me attempt to actually do a match review, do keep a lookout for that game. So I did review the game against Ludogorets. Um, but going into that game, it was very apparent that there was no Bellerin that started that game. Sorry, it was Jenkinson that started the game, but there was obviously no Bellerin around. Gibbs started that game. There was still no Santi. So clearly there was some concerns going into the game that, oh, okay, so there's still no Monreal, there's still no Santi, and now Jenkinson is weirdly playing. What's going on? Turns out that Bellerin and Monreal were left at home due to some minor knocks. Bellerin's, I get the impression, is more minor than Monreal's, but both are expected to be fit for Sunday's game. The one that's a worry for everyone is Santi. Um, I think it's a worry because I think people, I guess, are just assuming that he won't make it, and I think what we have missed with Santi is that kind of triangle between Ozil, Sanchez, and Santi. It seems to make us tick. It seems to drive us forward, and it seems to be an important part of the way we play, an important part of the way we press. So obviously, it's a massive concern for us. We need to be able to fix that. We need to be able to resolve that. Um, I'm hoping we do a Tottenham essentially, where Tottenham have done it loads of times to us over the years, where they tell us and tell us and tell us and tell us and tell us a player won't be available, such as Kane, for example, and then all of a sudden declare, oh, he is going to be available. So, so yeah, I mean, and speaking of which, that's pretty much the same thing that's happened very recently. So, Kane has always targeted this game to come back for the Arsenal game. And as recently as Thursday, a lot of the reports were that Kane was set to miss this game. And a lot of the reports that came out was that he was set to miss this game and he was devastated, yada, 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 yada. There was a late report that came out this afternoon that Kane is actually going to be in the squad. I must admit, I fully expect him to be in the squad. I actually expect him to start. I really do. As crazy as that sounds, because he's been out for, I think it's for what? Been out for 2 months, I believe. 3 months, 2 months. I actually expect him to start. I really do. I think they're crazy enough to start him. So I don't trust anything that comes out of Tottenham. The only one that seems to be a sure rule out, and don't be surprised if you see him on the bench, is Vardyvel, which I think will be a big blow to them. I think the two people that seem to be making them tick at the moment is Wanyama and Vardyvel. So it'd be interesting to see how they deal with those losses. Given those losses and given the fact that I don't really rate the rest of their team all that highly, the one thing I think that they're very good at is that they're very good at playing as a unit. So I think they're world-class players. They have what I consider very good players. So they have Loris, who I think is a very good goalkeeper. I still would rather have Czech over him. There's Vardyvel, who I've mentioned earlier. who's a very, very good player. I think Wanyama is a good player. Then I prefer Coquelin, to be perfectly honest. Ericsson, when he feels like playing, I think is a very good player. And Kane, who is only just coming back. So I think with that, this 1 to 11 is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to pick what I would pick. This is the one game I'm going to pick what I would pick, and not necessarily what I think Wenger will pick. So, provided that this is what I think will happen in terms of fitness as well. I think Bellerin will. So I think Czech's going to start, come and goal, no problem. He's the Premier League goalkeeper. I think Bellerin will start as right back, as he rightly should. Mustafi will start as centre back, even though I think he's had a slight dip in form, but I'm hoping he'll come back strong. This will be a game where he will cement whether or not he's an Arsenal player in this game. This will be the game where we finally find out, is Mustafi an Arsenal player? For all of, he exhibits a lot of signs that impress a lot of Arsenal fans. I'm not all the way sold on him yet. You guys know this. I'm often criticized about this. I'm almost sold. I'm not all the way there yet, though. And this will be the game that will really show us who is Mustafi, who is he to Arsenal. So I think Mustafi will start. I think Koscielny would and should start. And something tells me that Monreal will come back, and I think Monreal should come back into that left back spot. I would pick him. Let's put it that way, in that left back spot. So I'm going to go with Monreal. There's been a big doubt over Theo, but apparently he's looking like he may be back in time for that. I think Theo has to start on the right. It's critical that Theo starts on the right because of the rest of the players I have up front. I think Iwobi starts on the left. I think he's had a couple of games out now. Correct ego check. This ain't the game you throw an ox in. Need a little bit of flair, a little bit of genius, a little bit of something different, and Iwobi will give you that. In the middle is an interesting choice. I don't see Santi starting. I wouldn't be surprised if Wenger ushers him on the bench. I think that's the wrong approach. That's not what I would do. So for that reason, I pick Coquelin and Xhaka. And I'd have Ozil, obviously, in number 10. And because I've gone with Iwobi, you guys have probably guessed I've gone with Santi up front. I think that's the team that will win. I think that's the team that will harass them. I think that's the team that will allow someone like a Giroud to come on and change the game if we need him to. I think we played too many Tottenham games with Giroud starting, where we played the same old way, knocked it up top, they defended it comfortably, easy work. And then by the time the pace comes on, they're all right running it. Whereas if you spend time running them into the ground, the last thing you want to see is a fresh, strong, big man coming on the pitch ready to bully you. It's the last thing you want to see. And I just hope Wenger, he loves him some Giroud and he loves him some Ramsey. These are two players I'm hoping Wenger just says, you know what? I need you guys to sit down. Just for this. Sit down. I think provided we go with that team, and that's the team I'm hoping we go with, we will take these idiots out 2-1. I truly believe that. Every time I'm confident with a Tottenham game, we always end up drawing or doing some dumb shit. But I'm hoping that we'll concentrate, we'll work together, we'll play as a unit. Even without Santi, I still believe we have enough to win this game. So I'm going to go with 2-1. And that's it. So I'm sorry, guys. just typical that on this week of all weeks, the big one, that I'd be struck with this. So my bad with the illness, guys. I'm going to leave you guys to it. If you've listened to me for the first time, do hit that subscribe button. Again, if you're on Twitter, do follow me at Colossal Chig. I will do a good long review video because one of two things will happen. Either I'll be celebrating or I'll be pissed. And if I'm pissed, I'm going to do a long ass rant video, which means my internet best be on best behavior because I'll be in the mood where I will throw the fucking box out. So either way, it'll be an entertaining listen. All right. Take care, people. I'm out of here. Peace.